Hi guys, it's Amy, your golf coach. Welcome to Beginner Series Level 2. Today we'll be talking about the top of the backswing as we have promised. So top of the backswing is very important because this is where you finish setting the club, finish your coil, and basically finish up your backswing, and then the downswing happens, right? So if you have the top of the backswing pretty good, now your downswing has higher chances of coming back down on the same plane and with the square face. That means you're gonna be picking up speed, hitting it longer and straighter. But let's pretend like at the top of the backswing, let's say cock your wrist one more time at the top, or you've seen golfers that like start waving at the top of the backswing. If your top of the backswing is not settled and you're moving around and it's inconsistent, now you have higher chances of coming off the plane for the downswing, which means it's all guessing game and you're trying to get back on the plane, trying to make contact with the golf ball, and you're losing a lot of speed and consistency. You're gonna start hitting it a lot shorter and sideways, which we don't want, right guys? There are a couple different things I want to hit at the top of the backswing as it is a very important position. Today we'll be focusing on the coil. Let's get started. Subscribe, like, comment down below how your golf game is. Now, back to the golf lesson. We all know coil is very important, right? Because it's linked directly to the power. A lot of you guys actually asked me so many questions on this subject as it is a very important move and also it's not an easy thing to master. I'm going to help Aimeefied it again, making it simple, fun, and effective. When it comes to coil, we can divide in two and think of it in big chunks like this. First chunk would be the stability with the legs. So unless you are like doing tap dance when you're swinging, most people have enough stability to keep their feet grounded for the coil. It's the second chunk that I'm usually always worried about, which is the turn. When I give you checkpoints for the coil, it's usually, boom, the hips are about 45 degrees and shoulders are about 90 degrees. If you take these two parts of the body, then you want to focus more on which part? What do you think, shoulders or hips? It's the hips. Because if I were to hold your hips still and you were to turn your shoulders, you really can't hit the 90-degree mark. I have heard of one or two pros that are able to do that, but that's really rare. So if your hips don't turn well, there's less chances you're gonna hit that 90-degree turn with your shoulders. So I'm going to focus on the hip turn for you guys, okay? Checkpoint is 45 degrees and 90 degrees with the shoulders. When you do this coil correctly, you won't be able to breathe at the top of the backswing. And also now you can use the uncoiling power for the downswing and you will create amazing amount of power you didn't think you had in you. That's what we're trying to achieve. The most common fault I see in amateurs is that when they turn, usually it's the hips that's causing the issues. There are really three reasons why this happens. Number one is that you were really never taught the right movement. Number two, you lack in flexibility, mobility for your body to turn that way. Number three would be because you lack in muscular strength, which means when you coil really tight, you may be weak in your back or your core, so you can't really unwind and you can't really take all this speed to your body, which is going to cause injuries. Number four is what a lot of amateurs feel, that they feel like they need to keep the knees pointing forward and keep the legs very steady and turn, so they feel like they are not able to move their knees or thighs in any way, and that really blocks them from turning their hips the right way. So I did a beginner lesson with my sister not too long ago. She had the exact same issue. She'd be really good to hear, and then instead of turning her whole body, she'll just try and pull her left shoulder out of the socket, and I told her this is really bad for your shoulder joint and you really gotta turn. She really didn't know how to turn, so I told her simplest Aimeefied drill, which I'm going to share it with you today. When your hips don't turn and your shoulder goes, usually your left arm breaks. You may try and finish up without bending your left arm, and it may really hurt your left shoulder joint. It could cause you to start pulling to finish that top of the backswing. All these bad things starts happening, which is going to affect the downswing tremendously. Now from here, you probably have to pull through to make up for that pulling sensation for the backswing. If you're overswinging, it's usually casting. And if you don't turn the hips enough in the backswing, see, if you don't turn enough, now you're gonna lack power. So sometimes you over rotate your hips the wrong way, which is gonna cause you to go over the top, yank through, hit hooks and slices, which we don't want. If we can manage to turn the hips 45 degrees, now we can eliminate any of these poor positions that we don't want, which gives us a great chance for a beautiful downswing. Let's go straight into the Aimeefied drill. Ta-da! I have marked where my tailbone is, okay? So I want you to know where your tailbone is, and I want you to find the wall and stand in front of it, like so. Your hands are gonna go on your hips like this. So the elbows are pointing parallel to the target. So it's indicating where your hips are facing. From here, I want you to turn. Just try and turn normal, okay? Just do your normal turn. And if you feel like it's not quite 45 degrees, then now we gotta exaggerate the feeling. So your wall is behind you, and I want you to feel like your tailbone, this guy, is facing the target, okay? So you're trying to turn 90 degrees, but you really can't turn your 90 degrees because your feet are grounded unless you take your feet and go like that. I want you to feel like the tailbone is facing the target. Boom. It actually achieved about 45 to 50 degrees, which is most ideal. And I want you to do the exaggerated feeling. Your body understands exactly how it feels to stabilize and turn your hips the correct amount. This is step one. As I have mentioned before, if you are working on a brand new part of the swing, the best thing to do is not beat golf balls, but the first thing you want to do is do indoor drills at home. Get used to the movements, and then take it out onto the range, and then onto the golf course. So once you are used to turning the tailbone to the target, and it's really hitting about 45 to 50 degrees, now what you're going to do is you're going to grab a cushion. Ta-da! I got a cushion here. How I'm gonna hold it is like this. I'm going to be turning 45 degrees. I'm in front of a wall, so clearly I can't let the cushion touch the wall. It's going to be in front of the wall. You see the angle here? I don't want it here. I don't want it like this. I want it like 45 degrees here. So let's do it again. So you turn and then turn through. Turn. I can take my left hand off and turn through. Ta-da! I want you to do this step two because your hands need to understand where they go according to that much more hip turn now you're doing. If you don't do the step two, then what happens is you are not turning and you're going to the top of the backswing. And now when you start turning, your hands are going to be off because of the turn, right? So you're here, and then when you turn correctly, now your arms are gonna be in the incorrect position. That's why you need to do the step two, so you sync up your arms to your new hip turn. It was a simple drill, but we kind of like broke down what the COIL is. COIL consists of two big chunks. One was stability, most people are okay with, and then the other chunk was the turn. We broke down the turn, 90 degree with the shoulders, 45 with the hips, and we gotta focus more on the hip turn since it dictates your shoulder turn. So we talked about the hip turn that affects the bad positions at the top, and I gave you an Aimeefied drill to hit that tailbone to the target. It'll get you to the turn about 45 to 50 degrees, which we want. It's just an exaggerated feeling until you get used to it. And then step two was to go with the cushion. You turn, boom, throw it into your trail hand. You turn through, boom, throw it into your lead hand. That way you're syncing up your hands to your correct hip turn. You've been Aimeefied. How did it go, guys? I tried to make it as simple as possible. I'm sure you're able to follow along. If you get this hip turn going correctly, in the next lesson, I'm going to show you another thing for the top of the backswing, the left shoulder position. This is going to help you complete your beautiful coil, giving you that power, accuracy, all of the above. If you have any more questions, please come to my website's Ask Aimee section. Leave your questions and comments there. I usually handle it on my website first, and then I check the rest of my social media. So please leave your questions on my website. Really appreciate it. Thank you for golfing with me. Look forward to the left shoulder position next week. See you in the next one. Mwah.